Quite early on in my childhood, Sunday became my favourite day of the week because it was the day that we would go to Grandad's. Eager anticipation bubbled over into vocal queries. Are we going to Grandad's tomorrow? We did not have a games console in our own home, but there was a PlayStation, a colour TV, and lots of cousins to play with at Grandad's. My favourite game was Crash Bandicoot. It was an adventure game with a mutant Eastern bard Bandicoot as its protagonist. The object of the game was to progress through the various realms to defeat the evil antagonist. To begin with, you, as Crash, found yourself in a chamber surrounded by portals, which were doorways that transported you into the various new and exciting worlds of adventure. Fast forward 20 years, and some humbling moments later, the same tense expectation that I experienced waiting for Sunday is the same excitement I feel when I open my Bible to read. That same chamber in the video game with portals to enthralling worlds is the same way I experience Bible study. The Bible is an elaborate tapestry of hyperlinks woven together in space and time. Each is a portal to mesmerising worlds of interconnected discovery. Take verse 1 of chapter 1 of the book of Ezra and Nehemiah as an example. Now in the first year of Cyrus king of Persia, that the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah might be fulfilled, the Lord stirred up the spirit of Cyrus king of Persia, that he made a proclamation throughout all his kingdom and put it also in writing, saying, Upon first reading, this may seem to be a pretty unremarkable opening sentence, but there are a couple of significant hyperlinks that are asking to be clicked. The first is Cyrus, king of Persia. The second is the word of the Lord by the mouth of Jeremiah. Cyrus, king of Persia, is mentioned in 3 books of the Bible outside of Ezra: Isaiah, Daniel, and 2nd Chronicles. As 2nd Chronicles was likely written after Ezra, the authorial expectation, or inspirational intention, is that you have read Isaiah and Daniel, and if you haven't, these hyperlinks are hinting at you to go read them, particularly the parts that talk about Cyrus. Both Isaiah and Daniel are breathtakingly intricate matrices of hyperlinks in themselves, and you could spend a long time following those hyperlinks before you eventually return to Ezra 1 verse 1. Where Cyrus is specifically mentioned in Isaiah 44 verse 28 to chapter 45 verse 13, the tone is distinctly messianic. The mentions of Cyrus in Daniel are not hugely significant for Ezra 1 verse 1, but the knowledge of the book of Daniel as a whole is helpful for contextualizing Ezra and Nehemiah. This is probably why Daniel is placed directly before Ezra and Nehemiah in the ordering of the Bible that Jesus read. See Luke 24 verse 44. The book of Jeremiah is again a chamber of hyperlinks, but the specific verses referenced by Ezra 1 verse 1 are Jeremiah 25 verse 1 to 14 and chapter 29 verse 1 to 23. According to Jeremiah's prophecy, 70 years of Israelite exile were due to come to a close at the time Ezra's book begins, and lovely things were due to proceed, messianic things it might have been thought. But Daniel's vision, Daniel chapter 9, takes those 70 years and multiplies them by 7, which obviously caused Daniel great distress. Daniel chapter 10. After familiarizing yourself with the content of these hyperlinks and then returning to the verse in Ezra, you realize that the intention of the previously apparently unremarkable verse is to set the reader's expectation sky high. But that expectation has also been moderated by the Danielic prophecy that catapulted the fulfillment of the messianic prophecy hundreds of years into the future. The prophecy of Daniel 9 prepares the reader for the ultimate anticlimax of Ezra and Nehemiah, and partly explains why 2 Chronicles, the last book of the Hebrew Bible, ends with an incomplete sentence copied and pasted from Ezra 1. Chronicles is a synopsis of the entire Old Testament, and it is a story in search of a conclusion, a messianic conclusion. This is why the genealogy of the first chapter of the Gospel of Matthew, with which we usually find our eyes glazing over while reading, is such a dynamite introduction. If you learn to read the Bible as more of a story than basic instructions before leaving Earth and a collection of life advice, this would be far more obvious than it is for the majority of today's readership. So the next time you read your Bible, take your time. There is no rush to understand everything. The Bible has literally been designed for a lifetime of consumption, prayer, meditation, and practice. Enjoy reading your Bible, and don't forget to click the hyperlinks.